Welcome to Ms. Lip Art. We're going to make a leaf motif. You can find a list of materials in the description. First off, what is a leaf motif? A motif is a theme or a repeated theme of patterns of the same object. You can see that on the bottom we have a leaf pattern with a variety of leaves overlapping. But we're going to start with the top. This is an architectural design of the same pattern repeating 4 times. This has actually been carved into stone. You can feel the top and the bottom in the recesses. To create that top motif, you will need a 12 by 18 inch piece of construction paper. It can be in whatever color you wish. I chose black because I wanted it to be very different and stand out. Fold it in half lengthwise. Open it up, get out your scissors, and cut down the fold to create 2 narrow pieces of paper. That way it looks very much like the motif that we looked at before. And there you have it. Turn it horizontally. And now we're going to try to repeat similar patterns. I'm going to make mine just a little bit differently. Get out one of your leaves. To make this symmetrical, since I'm doing it differently, I'm starting in the center of my paper. I have a white colored pencil, and I'm going to use it to trace around the leaf in the center of my paper. I'm also choosing to have it right side up, since I'm not making a random motif, but an architectural one. Take your time with this. Do your best. If your leaf doesn't look perfect, that's okay. But if you don't like it, you can turn the paper over and try it again, and you also have an extra piece of paper. If you'd rather use a regular pencil, that works too. I like the way the white shows up on the black paper so I can really see how the leaf turned out. It's hard to hold the leaf in place, so don't worry, just do your best. There, I think I like that. I think I'm going to choose a different leaf now, but it needs to look symmetrical, so I need to do it on both sides. I'm going to choose this leaf. It's a little bit smaller, and put it right next to the one I did. Now my leaf motif looks symmetrical. Now for the other leaf pattern. This one can be random and they can weave in and out. So I'm going to get my leaves and I'm going to place them on the paper in different ways so it looks like the wind is blowing them around. This is the fun part. You can be creative and do whatever you want. I have an empty space, so I think I'm going to take this leaf over here at the top and I'm going to turn it over and repeat it onto the other side. Adding some small little details in now. And getting out my white pencil, I'm going to try it again, but this time, because it's yellow paper, my white's not going to show up. So I think I'll use orange. I'll demonstrate again how to hold the leaf down and draw around it. Now it's your turn to finish it. If you haven't finished, pause the video. When you're done, it's time for the next step. Do you remember our architectural motif at the top? How it was carved with raised areas and lowered areas. You can actually feel these in real life. Not on my picture that I'm showing, of course. I'm going to show you a trick on how to recreate this. We're going to be using simple Elmer's school glue. The first thing you're going to do is twist the top open. If you need help, you can ask an adult or older sibling. Check to see if there's dried glue on the top and remove it. Then squeeze it upright. If you feel air on your face, it's open and ready to use. Now it's time to outline our leaves in glue. It's a good idea, if you're right-handed, to start on the left side of your paper so that your arm doesn't go over the glue when you're doing other leaves. If you're left-handed, it's a good idea to start on the right side of your paper. I also like to start from the top and move down so that my sleeve does not get in the way. And that's a good idea too. I rolled my sleeves back to make sure. You get all your leaves done. And here we have the other one all finished. It's time to let dry overnight. I hope you all had a good night's sleep. Our picture is dry now. Rub your finger around it to make sure. You can feel the glue line. Now it's time to add color. Get out your soft chalk pastels, or if you have regular sidewalk chalk, that's fine too. If you only have crayons, you can also use those. Don't worry about it. These are going to be beautiful no matter what you use. But I like soft chalk pastels the best. I'm going to start with red-orange. Roll my sleeves up because this is messy. I think I'll start with my top leaf. With the edge of my chalk pastel, I'm rubbing it gently around the center, close to the edges, but not to the edges. Now it's time to soften the chalk, and I'm going to use one finger and rub gently in circles until I can touch the glue. The glue acts like a barrier to keep the chalk inside of the leaf. This is why you have to do it gently. If you do it too rough, it can go too far. If you make an accident, don't worry, because we're going to be coloring the background, and you can do that any color you wish. See how soft it looks? This is why I love chalk pastels. Now I'd like to add a little color into the center, and I want it to be lighter. This is orange, so yellow and red are next to orange. The lighter of the two is yellow, as you can see in my diagram. So I'm going to choose yellow to color the center of my leaf. Again, rubbing gently with my chalk pastel, I'm making a little bit of a circle in the center, leaving the edges same color. And now I'm going to use my clean finger and I'm going to rub around the edges to soften it and to make it look like it's blending in to the red orange. You can see it change the yellow to a light orange, and this gives it a beautiful look. Time to add some stems and veins on our leaf. You can look at the color wheel and look at white meat on the opposite side. This way, the color that you use for the veins and stem of your leaf can look much brighter because it's a complementary color. Because I chose red-orange, I'm going to choose a green color that has a little blue in it, and that'll make a very nice contrast. Make sure that your line is curved because leaves mostly have curved lines. Rarely are they straight. And they just look like branches of a tree. You can do your stem or not. Now it's time to add more color. What is your next leaf going to be? My next leaf is going to be yellow. Again, I'm using soft round strokes toward the center but not quite to the edge. Luckily, the glue stops it a little bit, especially if you're treating it gently. Imagine that you're gently petting a dog or a kitty cat on its fur. You don't want to scare them. So treat your chalk the same way, little gentle strokes. Let's decide what to do this time. I'm going to look at the color wheel. Next to yellow is orange or green. Since I just did an orange leaf, I'm going to use green. This time, I'm going to try a different technique, one that you might like. Instead of going on the inside, I'm going to draw a very gentle line around the outside of my yellow leaf. And with a clean finger, I have my ring finger that's still clean, I'm going to rub around the edge, leaving the center yellow. And you can see which technique you like. Did you like this one better? Or the first one better? Uh-oh, I'm running out of hands that are clean. It's time for baby wipes. Baby wipes are gentle. They don't hurt your hands and they work wonderfully for pastels. Simply wrap it around your finger just like this, going around and around, and voila, your artist hands are now clean and you have more fingers to rub with. Make sure your hand is dry before you rub chalk with it. Otherwise, it can make it very, very messy. Now it's time to finish the rest of your leaves using what I taught you. This leaf I'm going to make multicolored, and you're welcome to do that too, but you don't have to. You can do it however you want. Go ahead and watch the video as we work together and listen to relaxing music. Art is so relaxing, don't you think? Now I'm done. If you're not finished, please pause the video. All of the leaves are finished now, and it probably has some dust on it. Put it vertically on your desk and tap a few times, and allow the extra to fall off. Now we're ready for the background. The background can be tricky. If you choose the wrong colors, you can get brown. Yellow and purple are opposites on the color wheel. If you mix them together, you will get brown. Also blue and orange, and red and green. So try to avoid those two colors. Of course, if you want to do them, it's perfectly okay and up to you. You should be as creative as you want. I like to choose things that are close to each other. I'm going to use purple and blue or purple and magenta. Those are all together or analogous on the color wheel. They would all mix very well. Take a moment to choose your colors. I'm choosing blue and violet. I love the small pieces of chalk. You can rub on the side, close as you can to your leaves. Again, you don't have to touch them because you can rub it toward the glue and stop there with your finger. At this point, don't worry about it being too perfect. You're going to fix that when you smooth it out. Now I'm adding some purple and some white. Yes, you can add white to it. And I'm using my finger to smooth it all in. And look how it looks. Beautifully. Take care of your pastels and remember to put them in flat and always keep them safe. They break like glass. Clean up your hands and your workplace because it's time for the best part. Glitter glue. I'm going to start with Crayola brand glitter glue in gold. My plan is to outline all of my leaves in gold and outline the veins in the middle in all different colors. Unscrew the cap, squeeze the glue down. Remember, starting on the opposite side of where you normally write so that your hand doesn't overlap. Keep your sleeves rolled up and try not to smudge the chalk as you draw around with your glitter glue. Take your time with this. The glue comes out a little bit slowly. If you miss a spot, it's easy to go back over it. And voila, you have a beautiful gold-rimmed leaf. To keep with my theme, now I'm going to do all the rest in gold. You can pause the video while you finish for the next step. Now it's time for the leaves. I'm going to start with a multicolored glitter glue for my bottom leaf because I feel like this color would really stand out with my purple one. Oh, I really like how this color looks. It almost looks like shiny copper. And you can pick whatever colors you want for the rest. You can see that I chose a variety, red on top, silver, blue, but now I'd like to add something extra. The leaves are moving, so I'd like to add lines of movement, swirls and dips, the way that you think that wind moves. I'm using my clear glitter glue this time. I haven't used it before, so I'm experimenting today. Oh, I like how the color of my background shows through, and it looks like wind. Because wind is kind of invisible, isn't it? You can only see the effects of wind. You can't really actually see it. But it's fun in art because we can actually draw it with our imaginations. And there we have it. I really like how this came out. I hope you did too. When you hold it up to the light, it shines. Oh my goodness. Glitter glue is the best. I absolutely love it. But the background is still messy. If you rub your finger on it, it still comes off. What do you do about that? Well, after your glue dries, and again, it should be overnight, you can seal it with what I call Fixative. It's an artist's Grumbacher matte final fixative. You spray it all over your paper, but you must be outside and you must have an adult help you with this because it can be a little toxic. Leave it outside until it's completely dry. It might be a little stinky, so you might want to leave it out for a little while. You can also use aerosol hairspray, not the pump kind, but the aerosol kind. So if your mom has that, you can ask to use it. Let's see what happened with my architectural leaf motif. You can see that I used the same effects, but instead I used a color theme. If you'd like to replicate this, I used pale blue for all of the leaves, all 5 of them. Then in the center one, I used blue around the edges and rubbed it in. I used purple on the leaves next to it, on the edges, and rubbed it in. And on the last ones, I used green around the edges and rubbed it in. Finally, for the background, I chose pink. I thought pink would be a great contrast on the black paper, and I rubbed it all over the entire background. Then I added purple over the top and rubbed it in certain places. Last, I used the white to make the swirls and rubbed it in with my finger. And of course, I used beautiful aqua glue, greenish aqua and silver. And also I used gold for the spots around the outside. So this is not only a leaf motif, it's also very similar in colors. Blues, purples, and pinks with a little bit of green. I hope you enjoyed making our leaf motifs. I know I did.